Hey everybody, Cooper here from etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at our Flint Hill Goods compact steel cargo carrier on our 2021 Dodge Durango. Now, our Durango does offer us a lot of space on the inside, but that space is filled with people who need their own luggage and space. We might find ourselves running out of room inside. So, our cargo carrier here could be an excellent reason to have some external storage. Or if you're going to the hardware store, picking up things like mulch, manure, maybe starting a spring project, and we don't want that potentially to bust open on the inside and get our Durango dirty. Again, this is an excellent option for keeping that outside your car while having a way to transport it. Now, our cargo carrier is weight rated for 500 pounds, which means I have no problem thinking that I can confidently stand within this basket. But while this is weight rated for 500 pounds, we do need to check on what our hitch is individually rated for and making sure we are keeping in mind our lowest component, just to make sure everything stays safe. It is made of this steel, which is going to make sure that it is just a little bit heavier duty, meaning that any of our points around our carrier could be good for tie-down points, not being afraid of bending it like you would maybe be with aluminum. Now, anytime we add something into our hitch, we are going to be adding on length to our vehicle. So by taping our tape measure, we can put that to our bumper and see that we are adding about 23 inches onto the back of our car. And that's just good to know if you're trying to squeeze into a tight space or changing lanes on the highway, that you need to be aware that you are adding on that much length to your vehicle. The back coat finish does make it a little low visibility at nighttime, and that's what really these reflectors here on the back are really nice for, just to help let other vehicles know that you're driving alongside with that you do have additional size added onto your vehicle. Going into our next measurement, which is going to be our ground clearance, we can see that we're sitting probably just about even with our hitch at 11 inches. And again, just so that way, if you're taking this up any steep inclines, parking any driveways that might be uphill, or going any sort of uphill surface, that this has a chance to ride closer to the ground and possibly make contact depending on what kind of angle you're going at. One measurement that we did take earlier is going to be how high can you stack some of your things before you're going to make contact with your back hatch. And we saw that at 19 inches is the point we're going to make contact with our back hatch. So if we want to make sure that we have access to our back hatch without having to take anything out, we want to make sure our cargo sits below that number. Coming in closer, we can take a look at our hitch. We're going to have a 2-inch shank on our cargo carrier that's going to fit inside our 2-inch receiver. We have our pin that has a nut on one side that's going to help keep it in place and engage that anti-rattle, which really just helps take out a lot of extra side-to-side movement, as well as some of the up and down, but once you load cargo in, that up and down play is going to go right away. One important thing to know when looking at cargo carriers is the location of your exhaust and how they sit to your carrier. So clearly, we're going to have our exhaust blowing right into our carrier, so any heat-sensitive items like coolers are not going to be able to be held within this space. You're going to need to use about 75% of your carrier, I'd say, if you have exhaust on both sides, just for those really specific heat-sensitive items, and as well as, if you have luggage, you don't want them closed in your luggage, you don't want them smelling like exhaust. So pushing them more towards the center, away from the exhaust, is a good idea. Also looking into some alternative cargo carriers, like maybe the etrailer cargo carrier, which actually sits further away from your hitch and does have a shank rise too, to make us sit just a little bit higher above our exhaust pipes. Overall, I do really like our cargo carrier. It being made that steel construction, making it just a little more durable and able to last across multiple seasons is really nice. The only unfortunate downside is with our Durango, any hitch mounted cargo carrier you're going to be looking at, you're going to have to be mindful of those exhausts, and that just really limits the space you're going to be able to use for your cargo carrier. So while I think I could recommend this for something like short trips to the hardware store that we talked about earlier, if you're looking for something to go over more long distances like family trips, maybe look at going up into a roof rack. It just offers more space, and then you're not going to have to worry about those exhausts that we've been talking about. Overall, this was a look at our Flint Hill Goods compact steel cargo carrier on our 2021 Dodge Durango.